What's going on, guys? Playboxing, and we're back for another Dragon Ball Legends video. In this one, we're going to be doing another top 10 best units in the game, but for this one, it's going to be a bit different. Usually when I do these tier lists or top 10 videos, I usually include, all the units, Legends Limited, Ultra units, all the units. But for this one specifically, we're going to be doing only the top 10 best non-LF sparking units. So it could include Zenkais, but spoiler alert, there are no Zenkai units in this top 10. So it's strictly going to be regular spark units. And believe it or not, this list was actually kind of hard to compile. Just because when you go into PvP, you really don't see that many regular sparking units. There obviously are a few exceptions, which are going to be obviously in like the top 5. But it's very, very heavily focused around Legends Limited units and the summonable Ultra units. That's just how the game is right now. It's kind of unfortunate because, there's almost no reason to summon on All-Star banners because those are the ones that have regular sparking units. But there are, of course, some really good All-Star banners. To be fair, like the All-Star banners that we got this year have all been pretty good. So that's a good thing, but they should definitely do a better job with these sparking units. Make them more meta competitive. And obviously definitely some better free-to-play units, right? But like I said, it was hard to compile this list, mainly the bottom 5. So if you have any sort of problem with this bottom 5, like I have absolutely no problems with that. I don't think this is like the best top 5, bottom 5 how it is. But top 5, I'm pretty sure it's more concrete, and I'm more comfortable with that one. But without further ado, let's hop in straight into this top 10. It's actually funny because I recorded this video already, but I realized after the recording that my mic wasn't working, so there was literally no audio. So I'm forced to record this once again, but it is what it is. So without further ado, let's just hop in straight into this top 10. So number 10, we have Gamma 2. Now, I know Gamma 2, definitely not a popular unit right now because, let me tell you, no one summoned for this unit. Unlike this guy, Gamma 1 was given to everyone for free through 100 Z power, but this guy, he was not given for free. You had to summon for him, and let me tell you, his banner was pretty dog shit. No one was going to summon on that banner, especially being so close to the anniversary. There's literally no way people summon on that banner. Some people might have gotten lucky getting dailies, but if you have him at 2 stars, I don't even think you're gonna pump him up with Z power. So you're almost never gonna see this guy in PvP. Me personally, I only faced him probably like a couple times, and that's because he was a new character. But after that, we just did not see him at all. But he does have some pretty cool stuff. I mean, I think he's focused more on his special move damage, doing a lot of damage. Like here, you draw the special move cards, restore key, and 30% of your special move damage, right? So, and this cannot be canceled, so this can be actually it's the next special move, so it doesn't really matter there. But he has a nice sub count reduction there, crit rate. I think both the Gammas have crit rate, and he gets another crit rate here. Does he get crit damage? I forgot. I don't think he gets crit damage. But that's fine. But he could do some pretty good. He could dish out some pretty good damage. I really like the animation for his blue card. That's obviously very nice. And his stats are actually pretty solid. He's more one-dimensional towards the strike attack, but it's pretty decent for a regular sparking unit, right? The biggest issue with him, of course, is even though he's not the greatest, his teams also aren't the greatest as well. Androids, he's not used there. Android is not really that great right now. Sagas from the movie, if you're running that team, you're not going to be using this guy as the blue unit. You're going to use either Ultra Gogeta, which is probably the main unit, or even Broly with his platinum equipment can easily be a better option than him. So I mean, he's going to be our number 10 spot. There isn't really many other units you can consider in the top 10. Maybe like this free-to-play Gogeta, Piccolo potentially, but really not that many great options. So this is basically the worst out of the top 10. So everyone moving forward should be a bit better. So number 9, we have the new Sparking Tien that just dropped on the All-Star banner. Quick disclaimer with this unit, he is an unfinished unit. So what I mean by that is he does actually have, supposed to have a anti-rising rush mechanic into this critical suppressive fire unique ability. But they didn't implement it on his release because they ran into some problems. So they're actually just selling us a unit that is unfinished, right? An unfinished product to the player base, which is kind of weird. But his updated kit should be arriving with the new major battle version changes and massive updates, so we should be getting there. So his placement could definitely change depending on how good that anti-rising rush mechanic really is. But even with that mechanic, I don't think he would move up that much. He might crack like the 6 or 7 spot, but he's not gonna move up that much because despite that, he's a decent option, but his teams once again are not great. Super Warriors, don't even bother mentioning them. MajinBlue Saga is starting to get some buffs, right? We have the Buuhan, we have this guy, Ultra Super Vegito despite not buffing the team, Kid Buu despite not buffing the team, he got the platinum equipment. Unless I'm forgetting some other. Majin Vegeta just got a Zenkai, doesn't buff the team. So currently it's just filled with a bunch of units that don't buff the team, and then there's this guy in Buuhan. So for now it's not looking too great, but I'm pretty sure it will be good down the line, probably when this guy ends up being irrelevant, which is unfortunate. So really not going to be seeing much play time, or you're not going to really see this guy in PvP. I for one have never seen this guy in PvP, which is pretty unsurprising because I don't think anyone's summoned on the banner. But I mean, it is what it is. He has a decent kit, but he's just not going to be used, and his teams are the ones that are holding him back. So it's unfortunate, and you're not going to leader this guy, that's for sure. So let's move on to number 8, and it's going to be Gamma 1. So we did talk about this guy. He was given to everyone for free with 100 Z powers. Obviously 100 Z power is not that much, but with that you would get a free copy of him, and then from there you can boost him up with Z power if you really wanted to. I myself actually boosted him from 0 to 2 stars just to do his showcase, and he can actually perform really well. He has really good blast damage, and he does have some crit rate here, right here. Activates 6 times, so he gets a grand total of 30% to crit rate, which is really cool. And like his blast damage, obviously his main attraction here, draws, what's his arts green card do? I think his green card's pretty, yeah, changes all strikes to blast, and then 100% to next blast damage, restores vanishing games by 70%. 70% is very good, so it's a very good green card there. But similarly to the Gamma 2, his teams are holding him back. Androids, like I said, are stuck in the mud right now. You don't really use the green unit. The Android team, what would it be? Actually, he would be the main unit on the Androids team, but it wouldn't be that great. And then Sagas from the movie, there's absolutely zero chance you're using this guy over Dragon Fist Goku. Dragon Fist Goku is just infinitely better than this guy, right? And if you're running Movie Saga, you're most likely gonna have Dragon Fist Goku. So that's gonna be it for Gamma 1. Sorry if I'm going a bit too fast. Just for these earlier units, there isn't really much to say about these guys because, to be fair, you don't really see any of the bottom 5 units. I would say bottom 4 units that much. So it's kind of hard to rank them, but it is what it is. It's the state of PvP. Let's move on to number 6. So let's go to number 6. And it is going to be the free-to-play Super Saiyan Trunks. Now, this might come out as a surprise considering this guy's a free-to-play unit, but despite being a free-to-play unit, easily being the best free-to-play unit right now, he has some pretty good stuff, right? His main team obviously is going to be Future. Unfortunately, he doesn't buff Vegeta clans, and you're not going to be leadering this guy on Vegeta clan, that's for sure. Which it kind of sucks because this guy probably might be your best option as a battle member to run alongside Majin Vegeta because he doesn't have that Trunks requirement. Unless you go double blues with sort of Trunks, right? But he would pair nicely with that Vegeta. But obviously his main gimmick, is his main ability. So restores own ki, destroys all your cards, and randomly draws 4 new ones. So reshuffles your hand, gives you ki, and nullifies cover for 10 timer counter, which is basically a downgraded version of Golden Frieza's main ability. But it still does its job well, right? You know, you start a combo, and then you pop this, and you can just infinitely continue your combo, and you don't have to worry about any sort of cover change. Obviously, with such a long combo, the combo compensation is going to kick in, but you can definitely do a really good, nice little combo there. Green card is very basic, but it fulfills its purpose very well. Draws a new card, restores ki, and 20% damage, so to help with the combo extension. So overall, a very solid unit, but like I said, his main asset is definitely his main ability. After that, he can definitely still put in the work, but like I said, it's mainly going to be this main ability, which is going to carry him. So that's going to be our number 4 placement. Let's move on to number 5, and it's going to be Zamasu Goku Black Assist. Now, surprisingly enough, this Zamasu Goku Black probably is one of the better aging units from the Legends Festival. You could potentially argue that he aged better than Goku and Vegeta, surprisingly, but maybe I wouldn't go that far, but they fulfilled their job very well in being a tanking unit, especially against Ultra Gogeta, who's very prevalent right now in the meta. They do offer some support here with the health restoration and 20% damage. They're usually ran alongside on the powerful opponent / future team. If you're going more powerful opponent, then you would have like the androids and Perfect Cell. But I've seen a lot of popular setups with a popular setup with the androids and Ultra Super Vegeta on the leader, which works very well as well. So that's a very good setup there. But yeah, they fill their job very, very well. They have double card draw speed on cover, which is a weird place to have it, but they still get it. And of course, this green card, which is very annoying since it reduces your enemy Vanish gauge by 0 for the first timer count. So you can get pretty much a free combo there. And then Dragon Ball reduction every time you pop a blue card, always a good thing. Overall, just a very annoying unit and a very good tank. So that's going to be our number 6 placement. Let's move on to number 5. Coming in at number 5, we have the Buuhan, or Ultimate Gohan Absorb Buu. So yeah, this guy obviously a new unit dropped alongside the Tien on the latest All-Star banner, and obviously the biggest meme right now is of course his stats, which are complete dog shit for a 2022 sparking unit, right? This is unacceptable. Defenses are decent, but offenses are just god awful. But if you were to look past that, his kit is actually very, very good. He has a bunch of utility in like sealing, but his biggest asset is definitely the Vegito Blue effect, but for blast cards. So he draws up to 2 blast cards every time he uses one. So you can chain in 3 blast cards, and you can just completely just go in with these blast cards and do very, very good damage on almost anyone, because he goes neutral twice on entry, which is insane. And he cancels attribute upgrades twice on entry, which is very, very good. You enter, you remove all the attribute upgrades, and then nullify color, and then you just go to town with his blast arts. And it's very good for him because in the meta right now, there aren't many blast cover changes. Actually, I guess you could say, MUI Goku has both cover changes. VB is very prevalent right now. The androids, okay, there's actually quite a few. So let me take that back. I don't think he has any cover nullifications right now. Yeah, he doesn't have any cover nullification. He does have an anti-tag mechanic, but you don't really see this pop that often, I guess. But this ability right here is very good as well, because this pops every time your opponent vanishes. So let's say your opponent gets a PV, reduce enemy key, destroys an enemy card, and -1 to arch card draw speed. Let's look at the scenario. Let's say your opponent PVs you, reduce enemy key by 30. So that's potentially 1 to potentially 2 cards that the opponent can't use because of the key reduction. So that's that. Then we go look at -1 arts card draw speed. That means your opponent can't, chain the combo long enough, and then destroys 1 card. So basically, 2 out of your 4 cards you almost can't use. Let's assume your opponent has like 50 to 60 key. Remove 30 out of that. You can only really chain in 2 cards, right? So it's really good at stopping the combo whenever your enemy gets a PV. So a very good ability there. He has a strike coverage change, and then he is the second unit to get the obscure ability on his green card, which is actually pretty solid, because what you can do is, since it's a stop time event, you can just pop this at mid range, go for that, and then go for a tackle. And most of the time, your opponent is forced to vanish because they don't know what card is their strike card, unless they have a full hand of strikes. So you can easily get your opponents to vanish out of that and start a potential combo or vanish their attack, however you see fit. But it's a very good ability to have, with addition to having a blast card drawing. Blast card draw, restores key, and 30% damage. So that's very, very good. Blue card inflicts feint. he's a very, very good unit on with this kid, but like I said, his stats definitely hold him back, as well as his team, unfortunately. So that's going to be a Buuhan, our number 5 spot. Let's move on to number 4 here. Now, before we go to number 4, you probably just saw it in the little icon there, but moving forward, you could argue that certain units should be placed a bit higher than another, but this should be probably your top 4, maybe in a different order, but this is going to be for my order, right? So, number 4, it's going to be Purple Whis. Now, Purple Whis, very, very good unit. Core on one of the best teams in the game right now, Red, Purple, alongside MUI and Tag Androids. And his biggest asset, of course, is the fact that he holds a green card in his hand, right? So that means you're going to be having more green cards. And since he's paired alongside MUI Goku and the Androids, green card for them pretty much guarantees you the win, right? So very, very annoying there. But even other than that, I think after the green card holding, his biggest asset would probably be the fact that he nullifies cover for 60 timer counts when the battle starts. That is actually very, very good. It's actually insane that he does that. But 60 counts. And then he has support. He's a support type, obviously. Gives 20% damage to enemy, to allies, sorry. And does he have other? Yeah, he restores ki, another 15% damage, and 50% ki recovery. So very, very good supporting there. And then he does even debuff the enemy, so he reduces the ki by 20 every time you're faced with an enemy. So whenever your enemy switches out, you're losing ki, and you're getting -1 card draw speed. So that's very very strong when you're getting comboed and your enemy switches out. It's a good way to, you know, get their combo to be short, right? So very good there. And then restores vanishing gauge by 50. I honestly didn't even know he had this ability. I don't even have the unit, which sucks, but that's a very good ability to have as well. So obviously a lot of his value comes from being core on one of the better teams, but even despite that, he's a very good support unit with a green card. So very good unit overall. So yeah, let's move on to the number 3 spot here, or number 3 spot. We have Revival Frieza. Now, honestly, prior to the anniversary, or even before the recent event, you could honestly still argue that this guy would be above the number 2 spot. But I still think it's pretty tied for me, the number 3 and number 2 spot. Number 2 spot for me is Golden Frieza. It's kind of tied for me. Right now, these two are carrying Lineage of Evil alongside the Androids, which is funny because that's honestly the best Lineage of Evil setup with the Androids on the leader. But this guy, obviously, very, very annoying. Revival is very powerful in this meta right now. He just has really good kit, right? He has Revival. He has a lot of sub count reduction. He has also sub count increasing with his green card post transformation, post Revival. Yeah, inflicts with 3, so you can just pop this green card and then rush. Very good there. He has, I believe, Dragon Ball Destruction on his main ability, which can get very annoying. Reduce sub count here. I think it's the second main ability. Yeah, reduce enemy Dragon Balls, which is very annoying. A lot of ally sub count reduction on both main abilities. Overall, just a very good unit. He does really good damage post Revival, and just obviously having the Revival itself is a big asset for whatever team he's on. He works as a pretty good leader as well for a lot of these teams. So that's gonna be our number 3, or I keep saying number 3, but number 3. Moving on to number 2, like I mentioned, Golden Frieza is going to be number 2. A lot of people would argue that this guy deserves a number 1, but I don't think at all. Like, I don't think it's really that. I don't even think it's close. I don't think this guy deserves number 1 at all. And it's mainly due to the fact that, first, his teams. I wouldn't say LOE. You can argue LOE is a top 5 team. Yeah, you could potentially argue that. But if you were to argue that, I would say it's more in the lower end of top 5. Like, it would be number 5. Probably, but despite that, this guy does insane damage. Like, I'm talking like very good damage. Despite these stats, which are like, he's pretty good, main ability is stupid. Restores health by 30%, ki by 20, shuffles your hand, cancels buff effects, cancel downgrades, and then nullifies cover for 10 counts. So like I said, it's an upgraded version of the Trunks' main ability. But even though he only heals 30%, we have this effect right here. Where is it? Am I stupid? Is it this? Yeah. Every time an art card is drawn, restores 2% health, key by 10, 10% damage, 10% special move damage. So this, when you shuffle it, you get 4 cards. So that means this goes to 8%. So that's 38% health that you restore on main ability. And then key, you get 40 key to 20. That's 60 key. So darn near 40% health and 60 key on main ability, which is insane. And then as he's comboing your opponent, he'll probably get more of these to pop, and the damage just skyrockets from there. Starts off with 110 blast damage, increased draw speed by 1, 50% damage, just nullifies unfavorable element factors on his blue card, which does really good damage. He draws one on his green card, I think only once. This guy just does insane damage, but the downside, his biggest flaw is that he dies in like 2 cards. Like, he literally dies insanely fast. You can even one combo this guy with Ultra Gogeta. That's how fragile this guy is. So, and that's because obviously that he left the boost. He wasn't that tanky to begin with, but once he left the boost, he's paper. He's just, you can destroy him. So that's obviously his biggest flaw, and probably what keeps him from being the #1 spot, as well as, so, you know, his team's not being the best team right now. So he's gonna be our #2 spot, and at this point, I'm pretty sure you guys guessed it. #1 spot belongs to none other than Hero Tapion. Tapion, man. This is how you do, or how you make a 1% regular sparking unit. This guy is a support type, and he does insane damage. It's actually insane how much damage he does. Support type, restores allies' health, which there isn't that many units that does that nowadays, but restores allies' health, 25% strike damage by allies, seals enemy blast cards. This guy and his sealing, he seals so many cards it gets annoying. He's like the reincarnation of Ultra Kaioken, but obviously not to the full extent of Ultra Kaioken. But this guy seals so many cards all the time. Enemy attack is over, seals strike cards. Main ability, seals blast cards. I think he also even has a stealing green cards. Let me just control F seal. So he seals there, seals enemy strike cards. Yeah, here, following effect upon landing a strike card, seals special moves and special arts cards. This guy seals every single card. It's just crazy. But obviously he does introduce a new mechanic to the game, where when this guy dies, where is it? I think he's here. When he dies, he deals major explode damage to the enemy when his character is defeated. And then it applies to the enemy battle member as well, so it does AoE damage. When this guy dies from a purple unit, you're almost guaranteed to do 50% of your opponent's HP, as well as 50% to the standby members. It's insane, actually. He does it all, man. He actually does it all. He has death buffs, he has great support, he does really good damage, and he has great utility. There's really not much you can ask from this guy. Like, there's really nothing else. He also has the sub count reduction when enemy rising rushes, so you can guarantee that this guy will eat the rush for you. So very, very good there. Obviously, he's also paired alongside, or I guess he's core on one of the best teams in the game right now, which is Movies. You can also pair him on Powerful Opponent, which is a solid team with the androids. Like, he's a phenomenal unit, and I don't think it's really that close between him and Golden Frieza. Like, he is #1, and it's very comfortable. Like, he's comfortably #1. So that's gonna be our #1 spot here. Like I said, it was kind of hard to compile this list, but like I also mentioned, the top 4, I think it's pretty concrete. I don't think there should be any like disagreements. Maybe if you want to consider Golden Frieza #1, which I don't think so at all. But I think those 4 units should definitely be top 4, and then the rest of the 6, you can mix and match them in whatever order you want. So that's going to be it. Definitely drop a comment letting me know what your thoughts is, who you think is the best unit, sparking unit, what's your top 5. Definitely interested to know what you guys have to say. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe, because that shit is so important, so don't forget. Other than that, have a great day. See ya.